So I want to say hello to you all. I'm Noelle. I'm going to undo my video so you can all see me when I'm done, but for now I'm just going to show my screen. And really, this first call is to get you used to the website, how this program is going to work, and just go over the basics and the logistics. And basically, this is a program designed for you if you have any symptoms, any problems, any weight you can't lose, hormonal imbalances, chronic symptoms, anything from asthma, digestive issues, you name it. Because people often have 50 different symptoms but don't realize that the root cause, there's 50 different symptoms, but often everything has a very similar cause. That's why this program is not just for one thing. It's not just for losing weight or just for headaches or just for whatever. And you will soon learn how similar the root cause of most illnesses are. And that's really actually very, I think, exciting and empowering to learn and understand about your body. So anyway, this program is really designed to create a community for all of you, and it might be it might take a few weeks, it might take a month for everybody to kind of get familiar with one another, and for people to keep joining, and people will keep signing up and joining as time goes on and as the word gets out. Like right now, I have over 20 people that have signed up, but as you can see, there's only 3 of you on the call, even though I got more confirmations than that. So hopefully people will just get more familiar with coming on the call and getting the information needed, etc. So this is our very first call, and I want to jump right to step 1, okay? Step 1 is learning how just to navigate the website, download the app, and get into the community. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to jump to the website, and I just want to do a really, really fast overview. I'm hoping all of you have been to this website, which is obviously the main website, optavita.live. And on the beginning page, this is just a quick overview of what the website is about, this little video here. And hopefully you've seen it. It's just a few minutes. And then this is a video about me, because a lot of you have no idea who I am or what I've done or why I do what I do. So this video here, the second video on the homepage, is an intro about me. This program isn't about me, it's about you. So I actually very often downplay myself in this process, and people always get mad at me for doing that because it's about you. But I do have 20 years of knowledge, information, experience, and I have worked with people from all over the world with almost any type of condition you can imagine, and I am used to seeing people get better, not worse. So I have a lot of really amazing testimonials, which actually I'm going to put up on the site shortly. I have over, I believe, 500 testimonials, and that's because most people forget to leave them, or I don't ask for testimonials or whatever. So I would say that's just because that's just a small sampling of people I've worked with. But I am used to seeing people get better. I'm an optimist when it comes to healing, and I really do believe healing is possible no matter how long you've had any issues. So on this homepage, you've got this intro video, you've got the video about me, and then you've got the start here. I think you have all gone here. The start here is really just the outline to how to get through the site. So once you go to the start here page, there's another video, okay? This video is basically going to just walk you through what I'm doing now. So I'm not going to be redundant and do what I'm doing. But this video is basically a walkthrough of what you need to do to get started, and just how to access everything. But it's set up as like a mini course. That's why it says get into the course or resume course, depending on where you are. And you'll go into this course, and you're just going to... Hello, welcome to OptiVita. Sorry about that. So you're going to see all this, you're going to see 1, 2, 3. These are just a few minutes long. I have decided to do a lot of this information as audio format. I like audio personally because I learn really well with audio, not that everybody does. But I feel like it's a convenient way to learn. You can listen to things when you're driving, cooking in the kitchen, working out, doing something else. And I think it's a great way to download information into the mind. So this Welcome Start Here is very important. I just highly recommend, if you haven't done this already, please just go through this first section here. And and then you'll be ready for the actual program getting started. So I'm going to go back and out of this, and now you're going to get into the program. And the program is where you're going to have most of the information to get started. When you start this program, which is where you're going to have an outline, a blueprint of what you need to do, how you need to do it. It's going to go week by week, okay? So every single week you're going to have access to different content, and I don't want people to jump ahead of themselves. I've taken year-long or even two-year-long programs and courses before, and personally I tend to jump ahead. Like I like to learn quickly and I like to move fast. So I'm the person that jumps ahead. So if I had a program that allowed me to jump ahead and I could do like 1 month in 1 week, I'm the person that would do that. I don't recommend it. I don't think that's good, but that would be me. That's why this is set up for week by week. So you don't have access to week 2 until like I think day 10 or something. So, and that's because I don't want you jumping ahead. There is a lot to learn. There's a lot of information. And what I'm going to be doing in this program is making sure I don't overload you with too much, because I literally have so much to give you and share with you, but I want to go slowly, and I found that slow and steady works best for people. Some people like to move quickly, but slow and steady works best when it comes to creating new habits and just getting healthier. So basically these are some of the week 1 courses, and then once you're done with each one, you complete it. Now each week isn't going to have tons and tons and tons of stuff where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even handle all this information, it's too much. It's not like that. But in the beginning, in the first several weeks, it's gonna seem like a lot of information and content, because I'm just getting you started. So there's a lot for you to, there's a lot of information for you to download and have on your computer, audio, videos, PDF files, etc. And this is all stuff you can reference back to. I'm going to be giving you lots of great little recipe books and so much good resources. So you'll be able to save all this to your own computer and reference it later. So I think that's really cool. Here's the most important part of the program, though, in my opinion, other than the program itself, is the community. This is where I want you to think of this as like your extra Facebook or Instagram or something, wherever you would go normally. And that's why I'm going to show you how to download the app. But this community page is where you're going to see everybody. See, not everybody's even in the community yet, and not everybody's introduced themselves. But basically, this is where there's going to be updates, announcements. I'm going to let you know what's going on with the program and everything. And you're going to be able to see little videos I upload or extra stuff. And again, introductions, goals, people are introducing themselves. They're starting to come in, which is great. And you can also ask questions here. Any questions you have, this is where they're going to get answered. I want you to also think about, putting your goals in here, because the more everybody sees each other's goals and even their wins for the week, or I think you should come in at least every several days and check. And at the very minimum, once a week, put in your wins and your goals, like maybe right around when we have our weekly call. And you'll be able to really get some inspiration in here. This is really going to grow as we move along also. This is also where I'm going to be posting our events, like this live call right now is posted in here, and any other upcoming events. This is also where I'm going to put our challenges and motivation and stuff like that. The last part I want to show you in here, so we can move on, is downloading the app. Now, since I'm on my computer, I don't know if I can show you how to do that. But basically, you go to Thinkific, which is the name of this program. And let me see if I can pull it up for you. Let's see if we can pull it up. So this is the actual Thinkific. This is the actual software running the program, running the community. They have an app. When you download this app in iPhone or Android, whatever, Thinkific, you just look up our community, Optivita, and then you sign in, and now you'll have everything on your phone or your iPad. So I do recommend downloading this app as soon as possible, and that's really important, and then you can get signed in and ready to go. Let's see now. Okay, I think that's it for the website. Oh, here's the dashboard. This is where you're going to see your courses and the community, and you can just click in and it'll show you your progress, etc. So that's pretty cool, and I really like that. Now, I do want to mention, I'm going to jump over to Microsoft right now because I have a legacy email, and I'm in the Microsoft Teams. And it might be easier to host these calls in Microsoft Teams. If it ends up being easier for everybody, I will do that because we can actually record the calls in Teams also. And since all of you are already on Microsoft because you're at Legacy, and if you think it's more convenient for you, I'll get a vote at the end. But I want to know, maybe we'll do these calls in Teams, and also I can do chats with you guys in Teams too. So it's a good way to reach everybody directly in Teams and chat. And yeah, so anyway, I'll keep you posted on that. But I love the idea of being able to do these calls there and just be able to stay in touch with people through Microsoft, because that would be really convenient, as opposed to privately emailing everybody or texting everybody, which I'm doing now. I'm going to pause for 1 second to see if you have any questions. Let me just get rid of that. Let's see if we have any questions. I'm going to go to my screen. So feel free to unmute yourself. Well, I'll just ask you, Annabelle, do you have any questions so far?
No, I was on my laptop. I was going through the website, but I do have everything. At first I didn't think I did. I didn't see everything, but I do see everything.
If you can, be sure to join the community, introduce yourself, and tell us your goals in the community. And Catherine, you as well, because that's a separate tab on the website, and some people are not necessarily signing up for that. It's like a separate sign up. I don't know why, but it is. So you have to sign up separately, and then once you do, just introduce yourself. You go to introductions and introduce yourself and tell us what your goals are and where you're from and all that other good stuff. Do you have any other questions, like Michelle or Catherine?
I haven't decided what my exact goal is yet. That's why I don't have it in there. I mean,
oh, you don't know what your goal is? Oh.
Well, I mean, I do kind of, but I'm trying to. I just was trying to refine it a little bit more direct, but I'll get it.
You can have more than one goal. You can have multiple goals, and yeah, we'll towards the end of the call we'll get back to that. And okay, I'll keep for.
Hello?
I'm talking to myself. I can't believe it. So you didn't hear any of that. I apologize. So we're on to step 2, setting your goals. And this is very, very important, muy importante. setting our goals. This is how we create a vision for what we actually want, and then we set up our mind and we set up our body to accept this as reality. Did you know that every time you tell yourself that you are something, even before you are that thing, you're actually programming your mind to accept that as normal. This is why I love speaking things into existence, writing things into existence, thinking things into existence, and visualizing things into existence. These are all things I teach, actually, because they work, they're real, and they're no joke. And you are so powerful with your thoughts and your words and your visions. And I'm sure you have personally all have stories of times where you thought about something and then it happened, or you wrote something down and then it manifested, or you created a vision board and then all these things came true. And if you don't have any experience with that, you will soon have experience with that, because I'm telling you, this is life-changing, and it's a very exciting way to go through life. Because at any time, at any point in time, you can literally create what you want for yourself by shifting your thoughts about it. And this might sound like I'm going off track, but it's really all tied into health, because we first have to believe we can get healthy. We first have to see it in our mind as a possibility, and we have to see it as a reality. And that's the first step. If you don't believe it or you can't see it, well, then it probably isn't going to happen. And that's why we often don't get what we want, we think we want, because we're not even thinking about it enough or talking about it enough. Let me give you an example. We often talk about our problems, the things we don't want, the things that are bothering us. Think about all your conversations with family members or friends or coworkers or whatever. And you think about, something bothered you and you're going to tell something about it. Something didn't go right, something you're worried about, something, a worst case scenario. Just think of anything you might discuss with anybody. And think about how many times those discussions sound kind of negative, like you're complaining or you're upset or you're just blowing off steam, or you're talking about all these things that didn't go well. We all do that. We all do that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's normal, but that's actually a learned behavior, because we have learned and we've modeled after people in our life that they're complaining, they're upset. Well, that's how we're going to face it. It's not about always being positive and always faking it, and that's not it either. But when you pay attention to the words you speak and the words you write and thoughts you think, it's fascinating how negative our thoughts really are. Like how much we beat ourselves up, how hard we are on ourselves, how judgmental we are of other people, how upset we get about things, and we tend to think about them and talk about them. So this is something I'm going to get into this in a minute a little bit more. But this is tied into goal setting, because when you think about your goals, and we're just going to focus on health goals for now, but when you think about your health goals, I want you to really start thinking about the visual of and the feeling of already being that ideal body, the ideal health, before you're actually in. Because that really sets your brain and your neurons, and there's something called neuroplasticity, there's something called rewiring your brain. There's lots of stuff that I'll get into later, but this is how we change our body and our health. It starts first in our mind and setting goals and believing this is a possibility for yourself. So I cannot state enough how important it is to get clear on what you want. If we're not clear on what we want, we can't get what we want. We have to be clear. So clarity is king when it comes to getting what we want. And right now, we want to be as healthy as possible. We want to be as fit as possible. We want to be free of symptoms, free of pain, free of toxicity and extra weight. We just want to be like feeling amazing every day. Get out of bed, feel amazing, no symptoms, no pain. Do what you want. Don't think about your health, because you feel great. And you're just like thinking about all these other things that you want to do. So that's why goal setting is extremely important. I recommend getting a piece of paper and writing down, and this is how I would do it. I would say, I am so grateful now that I weigh my ideal weight. Let me pull something up for you so I can, let me just pull, wait. let me pull something up for you. I'm trying not to pull up all my files on my computer so you guys see everything on my computer. So I am so grateful now that I weigh 115 pounds. I weigh about between 112, I know it sounds exact, but it's just my body stays the same for no matter what I do. I always weigh under between 110 and 115. And that sounds like not a lot of weight, but I'm really not that tall. So, okay, but let's say I'm writing this when I weigh 170. So this is what I would write. I'm so grateful now that I weigh 115 pounds. Your goal is, weight is 115. I'm so grateful, and I'm going to tell you why we say grateful. I'm sure you get it, but I'll explain it. It rewires the brain to really perceive this as an amazing thing you're grateful for. I'm so grateful now that I weigh 115 pounds on December 20th. So what we're doing is we're writing our goals in present tense. This is actually a technique taught by some of the greatest minds in our century, and they really work. This way of writing is you put it in the present tense as if you already have it. It's still a goal. It's still a goal, but you start writing it as if you already have it. I'm so grateful now that I am so grateful now that I am symptom free. I am so grateful now that I breathe clearly. I used to have asthma for years, so etc. This is a style of writing your goals. You don't have to do this, but it's incredibly effective. I've done this with my clients for many years, and I have so many testimonials about this way of writing. It's also a great way to think. It's also a great way to speak out loud. You're literally speaking your future into existence before it's already there. So this is just an example. Now, I just want to pause. Do you have any questions regarding what I'm saying here with goals? Catherine or Annabelle or Michelle?
No, I understand. I think I never thought about it that way.
Does it make sense?
No, that's what I'm saying. It makes sense. I mean, it is a very positive way to look at it. It's almost like envisioning yourself. I mean, you have to envision yourself how you want to look. But if you think about it in the present, I would think it would motivate you to pursue it.
Yeah, well, it's an actual scientifically proven method to rewire the neurons in your brain. Because breaking old habits is very, very, very hard, because the mind has a hard time accepting something new because it feels like a threat. So every time I want to do something new, the mind is going to actually convince you it might be a threat, and that's why we actually stay stuck and we don't do new things. Or it's very, very difficult to develop a new habit. You have to repeat a new habit many, many, many times. This is why speaking it, writing it, and thinking it before you have it is one way to start rewiring your mind to accept this as the new normal. This is going to be your new normal before it's actually your normal. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Catherine or Michelle, do you have any other questions about that, or anything you want to add?
No, not at all, but I kind of see what Annabelle's saying too. Like, if you envision it in the present tense, now you know what you're kind of striving for. So I've never thought of it that way either. So it's kind of an interesting way of seeing it as well.
Okay, great. And Catherine, does this make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. I wish you could see the screen. Maybe you can re-log in when you get near a computer or something.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Well, I'm going to keep going. So anyway, that's goal setting, okay? So if you I'm going to share my screen where my little note is again. So you can kind of see just an example of how I wrote my goals. How I write my goals. I write them in present tense. Present tense, not far off in the future, like maybe one day, I hope, maybe. No, it's actually now. It's now. I have it now. This is how I've actually manifested some absolutely unbelievable things within my own life and my clients as well. This really, really works. It's just one technique and method. There's many, but I really like this. It's simple, and anybody can do it. Now, step 3 is we want to believe it, we want to see it, we want to feel it, and then we get it, okay? This is, I'm sure you've all heard of this. So this is getting a little bit more into what I was just discussing with goals, so I jumped ahead a little bit. But I don't want to repeat myself, but everything I was just saying is basically what this means. We really want to believe that healing is possible, believe that our ideal body is literally already ours. We want to see it in our mind's eye first. We want to visualize it. We want to feel what it feels like to be the healthiest version of ourselves. Maybe you have to go back in time to when you were really perfectly healthy or fit. Maybe you have to go back in time to when you were your ideal weight, you didn't have any bad symptoms. Or maybe you've never been there. It doesn't mean you can't be there, though. You have to actually visualize it and imagine. Maybe use somebody as a role model. Maybe think about who that person is that you think, wow, I'd really love to look like that. I'd really love to have that energy. I'd really love to do those things. Maybe you have to use somebody as a role model in order to believe it, see it, feel it, receive it. Any way that works for you works for you. For me, I actually get into a visualization state, and this is what I do for everything that I want within my own life. And when I was trying to reverse asthma and allergies 20 years ago, and I was living on steroids, inhalers, antibiotics, I was literally couldn't breathe about 60% of the time. I was an extreme case. And I would just get so scared when I couldn't breathe, and I would just pray. I would pray, and I would visualize myself breathing clearly. I would visualize myself running, because I could never run like a normal person. I would visualize myself working out and exercising and not being out of breath. And I would visualize my lungs working clearly and just being a quote-unquote normal person, because I never felt normal. And, I did that long before I actually manifested health, but that was what I would do. It's like praying and visualizing for this. And yeah, anyway, I just can't say enough about how powerful this is. It really works. If you've never done anything like this, the best time to do it is when you wake up in the morning and before you go to bed at night. You can also do it during the day. You can always take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just start visualizing this person you're about to become and get ready for it, because you will become that person if that's what you want. Okay, step 4. Okay, subtraction before addition. This is important. What I want to touch on here is this program is based on subtraction, not addition. So this program is not about adding 50 things in. It's actually about what do we need to take out. And you're going to see this when you start going into the program materials, because this is my philosophy, and it's always been my philosophy. And the smartest people, in my opinion, teach this, and this is because this is what's going to get you results. Your body right now doesn't want more. If you have any symptoms of any kind ever, any symptoms, headaches, skin problems, digestive, immune, anything you can think of that maybe you think is normal, but it's actually not normal. You're not really supposed to get sick 2 times a year. That's actually not normal. You're supposed to go years without ever getting sick. It's what we think is normal is actually not normal. Our body's actually designed to be extremely healthy. So think about the premise of what do I need to take out, not what do I need to add in. What do I need to take out? What things are you eating? What things are you drinking? What things are you taking in supplements? maybe over-the-counter stuff. We're not going to get into exactly what that is yet. I'm just giving an overview here. But the premise of the program is subtraction, not addition. So that's the good news, because the good news is you don't have to worry about adding in 4,000 things and buying all these stuff. This is really a minimalist program because that's what works. That's what works in healing, in long-term health, in long-term success. Less is more. The body actually wants less. The body doesn't want concoctions and protein powders and protein bars and protein shakes and like 20 ingredients in something. That's not what the body wants or was designed to manage, actually. So the body wants less. So less is more. That's what I wanted to touch on there. Step 5 is getting set up for success at home, okay? This is for your program, this is probably the most important part. This is going to make or break your success. How set up for success are you in your kitchen at home? Do you have a supporting partner? Do you have supporting family members? Are you going to be the only one trying to get healthy, or are there people going to be joining in? It actually does make a difference. Now, you can get healthy any way you want, no matter what. But the more support there is and the more support you have as far as your setup goes, the better. And when I say setup, I mean thinking about like basic kitchen appliances, maybe a juicer, maybe a really good blender, a good water filter so your water's really good. I'm going to get into that later, but just giving you an idea. Having like kitchen utensils, like a really good grater for garlic and ginger and stuff like that. A tea kettle, just, random stuff like that. Just having your kitchen set up. Do you have food prep containers? So containers to help you get ready, prepare your food. I'm a big fan of food prep containers. If you don't have any, I want you to start thinking about food prep containers immediately. And think about enough containers for like 3 a day. And I like glass containers because, well, probably obvious reasons. But if you can't get glass containers, any type of food prep container will do. Because the more prepared you are with your food, the faster you're going to feel better. When you're in control of your food and you don't let the toxic world dictate your food choices, and you can control your food, that's what's going to determine your success. I'm going to get into the ingredients in food and stuff like that later, but that's just an idea. So think about your kitchen, think about your house, how set up for success are you? Step 6 is detoxification simplified. Now, I want to touch on a really simple premise here, which is detoxification. And again, back to less is more, what do I need to take out, etc. Well, detoxification is where you need to start, even though you're not going to be, quote unquote, detoxing the way you might think. But our bodies and our livers and our cells get so filled up with gunk over the years. Think about all the stuff we ingest. Think about all the stuff we are exposed to. I could go on and on here for days. From the toxic chemicals in the air, in our water, in our food, in our products. It just goes on and on. It's almost like we're fighting an uphill battle. So detoxification is always happening within your body. But what you want to do is you want to help your body and you want to speed that process up, because most people are very slow detoxifiers. And what that means is you're not eliminating toxins nearly as quickly as you should because your liver's slowed down, your cells are clogged up, and there's all sorts of underlying things going on. So we want to focus on this as a premise also, which is let's start getting the cells, let's start emptying the gunk out of the cells. Let's start cleaning the gunk out of the cells. That's basically what we're going to do, because if you don't start here, it's very hard to get the nutrients into the cells. The nutrients can't actually get in because they're getting blocked by all the gunk, if that makes sense. Picture your cell clogged up with gunk, toxic material, which is very, very common and for most people. And now you're eating a lot of nutrients. You want those nutrients to get into the cells. Well, they can't because they're being blocked. So this is why it's a starting point, detoxification. Now, you detox through what you eat, what you drink, etc. So it's not like you're going to have to take up stuff and do crazy stuff. But I'm just saying this is the starting point. Think about your body. It needs to start detoxing before it can really start absorbing the nutrients to the fullest extent. Now, one more premise I want to discuss here is all disease is actually just two things. You might want to write this down. I'm going to say it throughout the program, but you might want to write it down if you've never heard this. All disease is two things. Too many toxins in the cells, not enough nutrients in the cells. That's all disease is. I mean, it's extremely simplified, but that's really what it is. So now think about, we want to reverse that. We want more nutrients in the cells than toxins. There's always going to be toxins coming and going in our body, but we want more nutrients in our cells than toxins, and that way we have the energy and the power to stay healthy, and then our detoxification system will speed up and keep us healthy and strong. Okay, and I'm going quickly for a reason. I want to just I don't want this to go too long. Step 8 is, what is a nutrient? This is a very, very, very important thing to understand. What is a nutrient? Most people have no idea, actually, what real nutrients are because they don't eat them at all during any given day. I can actually go through a lot of people's diets, and I can go through a lot of people's daily diets and say, you're not even getting any real nutrients in your entire day. Can you imagine? Can you believe that? This is how chemically processed our foods are. This is how bad. We have the worst food quality in the world right now. In America. I know that's hard to believe, but we do. We actually have ingredients in our foods in America that no other country around the world allows in their food. They've outlawed them. They're banned. They're considered toxic chemicals. We allow them all in our foods. Now, that's why it's important to understand what a nutrient is. It's very easy, though. A nutrient is what it is. It is what it is. You can write that down, too. A nutrient is what it is. A lemon is a lemon. A lime is a lime. An apple is an apple. A piece of steak is a piece of steak. An olive is an olive. A cucumber is a cucumber. Okay? Ginger is ginger. Garlic is garlic. Those are nutrients. So anything that is what it is a nutrient. If it grows in nature, it has a nutritional value, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, amino acids, living force in it, that is a nutrient. What is a toxin? A toxin is a chemical that is an anti-nutrient. So a toxin is synthetic flavors, additives, colorings, sugars, seed oils, and preservatives, and on and on. That's what toxins are. Now, those are in every food. What I just listed as a toxin, they're in every food. So what is a nutrient? A nutrient is what it is. Olive oil is olive oil. Apple cider vinegar is apple cider vinegar. Water is water. That's how you want to think of nutrients. An aloe vera plant is an aloe vera plant. Does that make sense? Let me just unmic and, well, hold your questions or put them in the chat if you have any so far. Hold your thought if anything's coming up. And then I think we're getting to the end, so I just want to get going. Now, here's our daily outline. This is where in the program you're going to get an example of a daily outline. This is when you're getting started where I want you to start. This is an outline of what I recommend you eat and drink during any given day. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what you have to eat and drink every day because that's not reality. Most people aren't going to be able to do that. And when people have to stick to certain meal plans that you outline for them, they often don't have success for more than a few weeks or a month. This program is a lifetime program, meaning this is setting you up for success for the rest of your life. All I'm going to be doing is giving you the accurate information to help you heal that will always work. But you are going to determine what you want to eat. I'm going to give you examples of a daily outline of what I want you to eat and drink and do. And then I'm going to give you recipes and meals, and then you can choose. And you can also modify, because as long as it's on the list of acceptable ingredients, you can have it. So, and then as long as it's in the, type of meal that I want you to have during the day, you can have it. So you're going to have some freedom to prepare what you want to prepare, or you can follow the meals exactly. You have either choice, because this is not a calorie counting program. This is actually a nutrient counting program, okay? Nutrients heal. Nutrients heal. And by the way, not all nutrients are created equal. All calories are not created the same. Think about 200 calories of a Snickers bar versus 200 calories of an avocado. Do you think they're equivalent? Do you think they're going to metabolize equally in the body? Do you think they're going to give you the same energy and nutrition? One's going to turn to sugar and fat and toxins, and the other one's going to give you energy, heal your cells, give you nutrients. So think about when people say all calories are the same, it's just as long as you're in a calorie deficit, you'll lose weight. As long as you count your macros and your micros, you'll lose weight. As long as you count your fat and your carbs, you'll lose weight. This is all lies. It's actually not true. In general, if you follow a certain eating plan as a bodybuilder, they're going to eat X amount of protein a day and X amount of fat, and et cetera. And they will be able to build a certain body, but they can never sustain it. You can't sustain that because and a lot of bodybuilders or fitness models give horrible advice. They're eating terrible, terrible, terrible foods as long as they're staying within their macros. They're eating so many chemicals and toxins. So this and that does catch up with everybody eventually, I promise you. So what we are focused on here is nutrients, not calories. Nutrients in. And as long as you follow the ingredient list and the outline for the meals and the recipe suggestions, you're going to, if losing weight's your goal, you will lose weight. And if getting healthy is your goal, you will get healthy. So that's just how that works. And now I want to get to communication, emails, and messages. This is also extremely important. Communicating with me is so important. I thrive on communication. Whenever anybody's in any of my programs, I want you to communicate with me. You're never bothering me. It's never too often. So we're going to make sure that in Microsoft Teams you have access to me through chat, email, messages, and et cetera. I think that's going to end up being the best way, so everybody will have like one hub to communicate. And then on the Thinkific app, that's where the community is, and that's where your course information is. So we're going to keep it really simple. We're going to use Microsoft Teams for messaging, chats, emails, maybe, and probably these live calls. And then the community is where you're going to have updates, information, materials, and then also your course program as you move through. So hopefully that makes sense. And now we're going to go to questions. All right, let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's see if we have any questions here. I'm going to unmute all of you, and then you can just let me know.
No, I guess I'm looking for, when you talked about detoxification, I had a question, but then you kind of answered it when you went over nutrition versus calories, and it is what it is, like, I guess what we have to avoid, and this is something I've always known, additives and preservatives and all that stuff that's not good for you. My biggest problem, and probably this, I also have to log in at something else at 11, but my biggest problem is staying focused on my goals. Like I sabotage myself. I have all the containers, the glass containers. I know how to food prep. I bring lunch to work, healthy lunch, and then somebody says they're going to order, and I join them and, don't eat my healthy food. So that's my problem. That's something I really need to work on, and I'm hoping that this program will help me stay focused.
Yeah, I have a suggestion when you're feeling, listen, these are food addictions. Everybody's got them, Our food is created to keep us addicted. There's certain chemical compositions in all our foods. That's why you see the same ingredients in certain foods. In sugar, fat, salt, and oil, sugar, fat, salt, oil, that combination is literally like, and I know we talked about this, Michelle, but it's literally like heroin for the brain. It actually lights up the same receptors in the brain as heroin. So sugar, fat, salt, oil, that combination will get people addicted and keep people addicted. And so it's literally food addictions that people have to fight every day. And, you know, any other addiction. Now, the way you fight addiction, or the way you heal, I don't like saying fight, the way you heal from addiction, overcome addictions, is you rewire your brain. You start associating that food as tasting disgusting. You start associating that food as being horrible for you. You start associating that food as sabotaging your healing and your health. You start looking at that food, and by the way, it will start to taste disgusting. When you start to retrain your taste buds, that food will taste like chemicals. I cannot eat that food anymore. I used to be able to once in a while, and I'd be like, oh, well, it's just like once in a while I'll have it. It used to taste so pretty good or okay. Now it tastes actually disgusting to me. I take one bite of something like from Chick-fil-A somebody has or whatever just to taste it. It is so disgusting to me, the flavors and the chemicals. I can literally taste them. And so, and even things that have sugar in them, things that have too much sugar, even like a treat. So what I'm saying is, my daughter will get Starbucks sometimes. She'll put sugar, whatever, and I will take a sip. And I'm like, what's in that? Do you have sweet and low in there? It tastes so bitter. It's so disgusting. She's like, Mom, it's just sugar. Sugar actually tastes bitter to me now. So this is what I mean. I promise you all in here that as you start to eat more nutrients, your taste buds start to change. Also, start associating chemicals for what they are, chemicals. Would you drink Windex right now? Like you're going to take a bite of something. Ask yourself, if that were Windex, would I take a sip? No, because it is. It's that toxic. So I'll give you little tips and tricks to help you reprogram and reassociate. But really, it really starts with preparation. Just have the necessary food and ingredients prepared and bring them with you. And just trust your body and your taste buds and your mind to slowly change. We are slowly rewiring our body and our mind over time. This is baby steps. Slow and steady wins the race. Our body's going to want to revert back to what's easy, what's familiar, all these bad self-destructive habits that are familiar. We're going to rewire that, though. That's going to take time, so be patient. But that's why we're here. This is why the community's here. This is why I'm here. You have a day where you're like, I feel like I'm really not strong today. I feel like I'm self-sabotaging. Well, this is where the community comes in. Share your thoughts, share your feelings, and this is what I encourage everybody to do. And you're going to have support. You're going to have guidance. And anyway, that's really, but I'm glad you brought that up because that's very realistic, Michelle. And we'll help you with that. So are there any other questions or thoughts? Catherine or Annabelle?
You answered my question.
Oh, really? Good. Okay.
Yeah, you answered my questions perfectly.
Perfect. Okay. What about Michelle?
I think I agree that I know this information somewhat, but for me, it's being consistent with it. The same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to use the excuse like I'm busy, but sometimes on Sunday I'm like, if I have a lot to do, the food prep goes to the end of the list. It just does. And so it's like I have to put myself first type thing.
Well, we all have to put ourselves first, our health first. And this is something most people don't do ever. Like, think about what's more important than your health. Nothing. Is your kids aren't, your husband isn't, your spouse isn't, your friends aren't. Nothing. Your health is literally, you are a temple, and you have to treat yourself as such. And when you do, everybody else benefits. Everybody benefits when you treat yourself well. It spills out over into everybody else in your life. It's really, and they start doing it too. So we're role models for everybody else in our life. They're watching, even if they're not going to do what we do, they're going to eventually do what we do. I have thousands of those stories where people start healing and they don't have anybody in their family supporting them. Next thing you know, a year later, they send me a message and say, you're not going to believe it. My husband's lost 50 pounds. My daughter, blah, blah, blah. My son, my this, my cousin, my mom. It really spreads like wildfire. When you prioritize your health and you show people by doing it, we show people by being the examples. I promise you, it pays off tenfold. So what I encourage you to do after you get off this call is please go over to the community page. Please make sure you download the app and sign up. Just do those things before you do anything else. Sign on to the community, introduce yourself. What are your goals? If you only have one, great. If you have 10, great. Introduce yourself. Where are you from? What do you do at Legacy? And what are your goals? And then I encourage you to go through the Welcome Start Here course. It's not long. It's very short. And just try to complete that today. It's really short. So now you'll be ready for the actual program to get started. And that information will be available to you it might be available now, or a few days, depending on when you signed up. And then you can start getting into the program. So next week, when we get on a call, I want to make sure that everyone's gotten started. And by the way, if you have questions this week as you're getting started, just, again, get into the Teams app, email me, chat, etc. Oh, by the way, I need your Legacy emails now. Like, I might not have your Legacy emails. I know I said put your personal emails in. This is so funny, right? So let me stop sharing my screen. Okay. So why don't you give me your Legacy emails real quick. Catherine, what is yours?
It's C North Up.
At Legacy Healing?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And Michelle, what is yours? Did I lose Michelle? I think we lost Annabelle because she had another call.
No, I'm here.
Oh, good, Annabelle. Okay, what's your Legacy email real quick before you go?
It's A Santiago.
At Legacy?
At Legacy, yeah. And Michelle is as Michelle, C-O-W-A-N.
M-C-O-W-A-N, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's always like the first letter and the last name?
To the best of my knowledge. At least our team is.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I want to really thank you. First of all, did you get any overview? Do you feel like this was informative for a first call? Do you feel like you got anything out of this?
I did, I mean, some things I know, but, what you said about writing down, as you see, write yourself today as
in present tense.
In yourself. Like, pretend that today is the way you really want to look. Yeah.
Okay.
So I thought that's a good positive way of looking at things. Like, you can't envision something. You can't obtain something if you don't envision it.
Yeah. And
I think most of us look at our struggles like, oh, it's so hard. Oh, I'm never, 20 pounds seem like, so far away, forget about 50 pounds.
Right. It just seems like too much when we do it that way. Here's another thing.
Right.
So that you like that part of it, that's good. And by the way, this is just an overview. This is just like beginning, very, very pre-beginning, okay? So I promise you there's going to be information that I share where you go, oh, wow, I never knew that. Wow, I never heard that. Wow, I didn't know that. And that's going to be exciting, I feel like, also, because that's the point. I mean, learning is the point of this. We want to learn a few new things. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff in here that hopefully you don't know yet, or you haven't heard it yet, or maybe you forgot it, yeah, so I want to keep you guys very interested and informed. Also, don't feel like don't beat yourself up if you didn't do something you're supposed to do with the program or whatever. There's no feeling bad in here. And by the way, don't feel bad if you need to do week 1 for 2 weeks in a row, or week 1, because they're only labeled week 1, week 2 to keep you on a track. But somebody might need to do week 1 for 3 weeks. that's okay, because this is a self-paced program. We're all on a different. That's okay, because this is a self-paced program. We're all on a different course and a different pace. So don't worry about that either. This isn't a race. The only finish line is when you reach your goals, and then you create another finish line. So I hope that helps too, because it's not like, oh no.
It does. Thank you, and I'm going to have to go. But I appreciate it. Go on the community and put my goals.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
I appreciate it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Doing the things that you put on your thing.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm so glad you
were here.
And I wish you a great rest of the weekend. And I'll start reaching out to people on the teams that make sure everybody's over there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Noelle. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.